We get back onto the parkway, and my anxiety is just roiling. I'm like, what if we get pulled over? What if we get a fine? What if the truck doesn't clear a toll booth and we get arrested? I don't know. Everything was just swimming through my mind. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Let's Get Cereal, the weekly show where I, your host, Melissa Marino, eat cereal and talk about stuff. I certainly have a lot to talk about because there's a lot of stuff that's been happening lately. Where do we even start? You know where we start. I'm going to answer my own question right away. We start with cereal. We start with the proverbial bread and butter. We start with what the show is all about, and that, my friends, is cereal. As you may know, I'm back in Philadelphia, so there is no better cereal of choice. Nothing quite feels like coming home like, a drum roll please, Golden Grams. Thank you. Thank you, Golden Grams, for being part of this, I guess, return of Let's Get Cereal. So let's get into it. I can tell that I'm at my parents' house because there's a color coordinated butterfly clip to keep the cereal fresh. Love it. And I know that we've had this retro recipe in the past, and you can really see, and hopefully you'll be able to see it, there is just a sheen of this gorgeous kind of honey coating on these delectable crisps, and I'm very, very much excited. Almond milk to make it a party. My friends, let's get cereal. It's actually very funny because this box of Golden Grams is all about, remember the 80s and feeling super nostalgic. And there is really nothing more nostalgic than being home. I'm seeing, old family photos, pictures of me growing up through the years. I am an only child, so that makes sense. But it was a harrowing journey to get here, my friends. Let me tell you all about it. So once Andy and I decided on making this trip and driving up from Florida to Philadelphia, we had played around with some ideas, and I was very much, you know what? I'm going to drive our car. You can drive the moving truck with all of our stuff. It'll be easier that way. We don't have to get a hitch or anything to tow the car behind us because that might be expensive. Yada. So we had been debating this back and forth. I was 100% vehement. I can do this. I can make this 15-ish hour drive myself. I got this. Plans change. We end up going for the idea of, okay, it makes more sense. It's going to be a long trip. We might get tired. Let's stick together. Let's be in the moving truck together, and let's haul the car behind us. Fine. But this requires us to get a larger moving truck. So instead of just getting a 12-foot kind of standard size moving truck, we end up having to do a 16-foot in order to be able to tow the car behind us. I end up calling the rental truck company that morning, making a last minute change from the 12-foot to the 16-foot. And they're like, hey, you're going to need to pick this up about 30 minutes away from you at a gas station. Like, okay. So we go to this gas station. Very nice cashier behind the counter gets us all set up with our paperwork and says, okay, just double check the number on the keychain to make sure that you have the right truck and the right trailer, the right carrier, they call it. I'm like, okay. So we go out there to this little back lot behind the gas station. We find the truck, cool. We find the carrier, cool. They are not attached to one another. Uh-oh. So I'm going through these brochures that were given by the guy that took care of us at the gas station. And when I tell you we spent roughly 45 minutes trying to get that hitch hooked onto the back of this moving truck, It wasn't us, though. I need to make this perfectly clear. It was not us. It was not user error. There was an issue with the machinery to the point that the gas station clerk had to come out, and literally this man had Andy drive. He's like, "Hey, drive the truck," and he was standing where the hitch is supposed to connect and jumping on it to get it to lock into place while Andy is slowly driving the truck. And this is how we begin our journey. With the help of some very, very dear friends, we managed to get our belongings and everything packed into this moving truck. Andy has to be guided and, bless him, is able to drive up onto the carrier. Like, all 4 of the car's wheels are off the ground. It isn't something where it just hooks into the front. It's, he has to drive up onto this platform. We manage all that. We sleep on the floor, and we're going to start our journey at 7 a.m. the next day. We want to get on the road and get ground covered so badly that we don't stop for coffee or for food or anything. We're like, hey, let's just go. As soon as we need to get gas, then we'll make a stop and we'll, get some snacks or whatever. I don't know why I feel the need to mention this, but I had packed an ice cream bar because it's the last one I had in the pack, and I just really didn't want it to go to waste. So I was like, oh, I have an ice pack. I have an ice pack in this thing. Actually, shout out to Allison Danger, who gave me that ice pack for my herbs that she gave me. So I'm using this giant ice pack. I have my little frozen. It was like a Haagen-Dazs salted caramel cone bar. So important to me. So I take it out. I unpack it early on in the trip. Maybe we're like an hour or 2 in. It's not like, I waited until the umpteenth hour to open this thing. But I open it up and I go to pull the stick out, and just the stick comes out. All the ice cream has stayed inside of the wrapper. So I do, of course, the most proper and ladylike thing to do, and I gnaw at it from inside of the wrapper like a rabid dog. It was not pretty. It went everywhere. And luckily I had a change of t-shirt that I was able to change into. It was not one of my prouder moments, but damn, it tasted good. So we make our first stop. We get about 5.5 hours in. We stop in South Carolina. Because also consider the fact that this is a 16-foot truck with a car being hauled behind it. We can go maybe 60 miles an hour safely, but we don't hit any traffic, which is great. Knock on wood. I'm just in the habit of doing that now. So we stop in South Carolina. We get some energy drinks. We get some snacks. We're back out on the road, and we're thinking, okay, we got another 5.5 hours in us. We'll maybe get to Virginia. Superb. Because then it's only a couple states over, and they're small states, and it should be fine. I swear to you that we got stuck in a time warp through the Carolinas. I don't know what happened, but I looked at the GPS, and it kept saying, all right, 2 hours until you get to this Pilot Travel Center gas station that's great for truckers. And then I kept looking. I'm like, okay, about 40 minutes has passed. Let's take a look. 2 hours until you get to this Pilot Travel Center. I don't understand. I just don't get what happened. I mean, obviously we're going slow and it had to update itself, but don't mess with my emotions like that, because I was fully intending on it being 2 hours, not 4.5, whatever the case may be. So that was a little bit of a mind trip. In hindsight, we should have gotten a full meal. We really should have. I think Andy was basically living off of Slim Jims, and I was living off of pastries for most of the day. I love me a bear claw. But that was not enough. It was a long day. It was not enough. There was a Subway at that gas station that we should have stopped at, and we did not. That's on us. So then we leave. We end up getting it's in Virginia, and we're like, okay, hey, listen. Let's keep ourselves motivated, because we just have to get through DC, Maryland, a little short stint in Delaware, Jersey, straight to Philly. Easy peasy. Until we get through DC, and it starts to get a little congested, not too big of a deal. And then there's this route that it wants us to take on the GPS, and it's 895, I think was the number, but it was some kind of smaller parkway. And I'm like, oh, Andy, here's the left turn. Here's the left turn. And side note, Andy drove the entire thing. Like, I did not get behind the wheel of this giant moving truck once. So bless my dear sweet man. But he was tired. And it was a lot. So I'm directing him. I've been a pretty good co-pilot. And I say, hey, Andy, time to make that left. He's like, this left where it says no trucks? I was like, well, I say, you know what? Take this exit because this name of this road sounds familiar. Did it? I don't know. I was curious. And we end up, we're on these smaller side streets. I say to myself, what are we going to do? Take side streets all the way to Philadelphia? Absolutely not. We're like on the other side of the Baltimore Harbor. Like, we need to cross over. So I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe they mean commercial trucks. Maybe they mean 18-wheelers. Let's just get back onto that parkway thing. We get back onto the parkway. And my anxiety is just roiling. I'm like, what if we get pulled over? What if we get a fine? What if the truck doesn't clear a toll booth and we get arrested? I don't know. Everything was just swimming through my mind. I end up Googling this particular parkway, and it says something along the lines of like, no large vehicles, campers, RVs, whatever the hell, because of this large reserve gas tank that they have, because it's a tunnel that goes underwater. So as soon as I hear it's a tunnel that goes underwater, I'm like, this truck shall not pass. We need to get off. I was kind of explaining this to Andy as I was seeing the exit we needed to take. And for some reason, I just kept explaining it to him instead of just, it was a very last minute exit, but we made it to this exit. I then realized that our journey jumps from an hour and a half to 2.5 hours. So long story short, we go all the way west around Maryland through, I don't even know. Did we go through Delaware? We must have, I think. We go onto 95, off of 95, because there's a 99-minute backup because of road work. Some way, shape, or form. We pulled up to my parents' house, and they greeted us with open arms at 3:30 in the morning. But we made it. And I think when we someday write our memoir, the title will be, for this chapter, And We Made It. So, long story short, if you're driving a giant moving truck, plan your route out ahead of time so that you avoid scary situations like this. But obviously I know it had been a while since I had a new episode of Let's Get Serial to really kind of update my breakfast buddies on everything that's been going on. It's been a lot. Been planning this move for a bit. Now that we are kind of getting settled, we're waiting for our apartment to get ready. I have some time to kind of catch up and recount these wild stories, which is great. But obviously that is not all that's going on. We have a brand new design that is going to be coming for Let's Get Serial from our friends at Fully Gimmick. Be sure to check them out. I absolutely love my new Fully Gimmick shirt. And there's a brand new design coming that I am absolutely thrilled about. I know they posted a little teaser earlier, so be sure you check that out because it will be available through Fully Gimmick. You can get one of your very own. And then this Sunday, as kind of an amazing welcome back to the Northeast for me, I get to be part of WWR Plus Hit 'em Up Style and the debut event for Women's Wrestling Army. I am so very excited to be able to lend my voice to these companies, to get to work with Sam Laterna and Lenny Leonard respectively. These are going to be amazing events, my friends. And here's the really cool thing. It is one ticket for both events. So if you buy a ticket for WWR Plus, you're going to be able to stay through for WWA. It's a doubleheader of absolute amazingness and magic and phenomenal women's wrestling. And I can't even put it into words. Like, I'm so very thrilled and honored to be part of this. It is something where I had shared online. I was like, just feeling a little funky, feeling a little bleh. And this is certainly really revving up my spirits and and really giving me something super exciting to look forward to. So I'm definitely feeling good about that. I'm also feeling good about, well, I'm kind of feeling good. These did get a little soggy while I was telling my story, but wow, what a harrowing tale I had to get through it. But I'm also feeling good about doing the old bottoms up. So my friends at home, if you cannot be there in person this Sunday for the doubleheader, be sure that you catch WWR plus Hit 'em Up Style. It's going to be starting at 2:30. It's going to be streaming on IWTV. And if you can be there in person, be sure that you hit up both of these incredible shows. WWA is going to be starting at 7 p.m. on Sunday. Get your tickets at shopiwtv.com. Don't forget to check out Fully Gimmicked as well for lots of delightful merch. I have my trading cards available through Raw Deal Indie Card as well as Cards Subject to Change. You can also still subscribe to the Patreon. I think that's it. And subscribe on here. If you're not already subscribed on my YouTube, do that, please. And until next time, my friends, continue to do your best to be your best. And I will see you later.